Chair. Thank everybody for participating today. We found it very useful and very exciting. This is where I thrive. As I said before, my name is Honorable Wesley Douglas. I'm from Umkhonto Isizwe. I'll be a little bit cheeky. Everybody to my left is in government. Everybody to my right is not, right? So our perspectives are going to be different. And the way we see this is going to be different. So that's what makes up this committee, is that we are all from different walks of life. But we see South Africa as one country. And when it comes to international relations, the people out there don't see us as ANC, DA, MK. They see us as South Africa. Now this presents us with the good and bad problems. Let me first look at it from our perspective. One of the main things that I want to speak to is we want DIRCO to be changed fundamentally. We believe it's an elitist organization as it is structured right now. It's not benefiting our people. It's not allowing black economic empowerment to go down to grassroots level. For us, who's benefiting from DIRCO for the last 30 years? It's white monopoly capital. I went to FOCAC, I've been part of international relations since 2005 when I was a member of parliament, and I was serving back then. It was called the Foreign Relations Committee. It was that long ago. And now it's called International Relations and Cooperations. And what I can tell you is that from then until now, I haven't seen colored and Khoisan and Zulu and Xhosa people in China, in the EU, in America, being taken there as part of trade delegations, taken there as part of presidential trips. I haven't seen our people given access to the procurement opportunities that come from international relations. Economic diplomacy is only for white people in this country. And that's what we want to stop. We want to make sure that everybody has an access to economic diplomacy. Right now, there's hardly any trade attaches in any of the embassies. Is that a failing of the South African people? No, it's a failing of this government. And it's a failing of the GNU. Trade attaches are very key at helping us being able to identify the opportunities within a host country and being able to make those opportunities available to our people. You look at the BRICS environment. We've been part of BRICS longer than any other African country, since 2010. And yet, what has it done for our people? What has it done for black business? What has it done for township economies? This year, we are chairing the G20. Does that help our businesses? Does it help Aboriginal Khoisan businesses? Does it help black African businesses? Does it help us to be able to say these young people that have degrees that have been spoken about, they don't know with a degree whether they're going to have a job? There's opportunities in China for us to go and take them and go and train them over there and come back with fourth industrial revolution skills and knowledge. They have beneficiated the entire value chain in China and those kind of places. And we can learn from them to say, instead of us sending our materials out the raw, we need to beneficiate it. We need to build smelters. We can use our resources to free our people. So for us, we want to see a fundamental shift in how DIRCO operates. It must not be the purview of the elite. It must be the purview of the people. It must be a place where a young person can say, how do I link into youth in the United Nations, and how do I link into the youth programs around the world? Where's the opportunity for us to get skills, training, job creation? These are things that economic diplomacy and DIRCO have to answer. So on some of the inputs, when Honorable Powell spoke about nostalgia, about liberation, the reality is we haven't been liberated in this country yet. Not economically, not for black and colored and other people who of color who were dispossessed of our land. That land justice must come before foreign direct investment. Before we have foreign direct investment, we need land justice. And this government is not speaking about land justice. It's not speaking about sovereign wealth funds. It's not speaking about how we're going to use our resources to free our people from poverty. What's going to happen? We get more investment. Who benefits? White monopoly capital. They get more agricultural deals. They get more mining deals. They get more. What happens to our people? Naxi. So we want to see fundamental changes in DIRCO, and that's why we're here with you. We want to hear your voices. How do you access? How do we get the Khoisan people to get their bangles and their arts and their artisans into the foreign markets that's out there? You go and look at other First Nations around the world. They've got billions and trillions of dollars coming from the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, which we signed in 2017, but is not applied in South Africa. So there's a lot of things that are still needed to be addressed here. When we look at the trade deficits and you look at trade bilateral agreements, those trade bilateral agreements, do you know why they don't want to send it to us? Because it's only white monopoly capital that's benefiting from those trade bilaterals. It's only them that are benefiting. You look at AGOA. If we lose AGOA, who gets hurt? Who's got the farms? Who's got the mines? Who's got all of that? It's not us. It's not our people. They are the ones that, and let me tell you, AGOA didn't go because of the ANC. And I'm going to say some controversial things. The AGOA went because the DA, the Freedom Front Plus, Solidarity, AfriForum went to America for years and blackmouthed our people and said that we have white genocide. So the blame mustn't be put in the wrong place. This is to protect people's land that they stole from our people. All right? So, ons morsie onze woorde as MK nie. So, when we talk about, and here it comes back to the issue of national interest that was raised by the UWC, Stellenbosch, and many others. What is in our national interest? Is in our national interest remaining status quo, where it's only the people, the haves, the people that historically benefited under apartheid and colonialism and got a head start on the economy and still own the land and the mines? Is economic diplomacy only to benefit them, or is it to benefit all our people? Is it to benefit the NGOs? How's our NGOs and our street committees and our youth committees and our churches and our mosques? How's our people benefiting from international relations? Right now, it's not. So as much as, that's what I'm saying, on my left, you'll hear a different tone coming from this side. Because we're not happy with status quo. Status quo for 30 years has kept our people in poverty. We want to see a real change. And so if you want to know what mechanisms there are for you to use, I can tell you hardly any after 30 years. There's hardly any mechanisms for you as a young entrepreneur to start a business, to get support from government, to get funding for your products, and to take it to the Chinese market. It's bestaan nie. So that's a failure of this government. And unless this government budgets for a change, it's going to be more of the same. So what do you see? The budget reflects more of the same. For the next 5 years, nothing is going to change because you spend your money where your priorities are. And this budget that this government has given does not give international relations a bigger budget. It doesn't give international relations to unfreeze posts, to put young men like that into the diplomatic corps. It doesn't give us a bigger budget to be able to take our young people and train them for the international market. So we must talk about facts and not just talk about nice things. When it talks about things like Amazon, I was part of the campaign against what Amazon was doing. How does that affect international relations? When foreign multinationals get given contracts and land that belongs to Aboriginal people at the expense of those people without consulting those people, that goes against international law. It goes against the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of People and the TKI Act number 3 of 2019. So I know I'm going to get pressure from time, but I can talk a whole day. And I can tell you that also we're not very happy with how things are happening for international relations. And I don't want you to get the hunky-dory or kumbaya op dieselfde page. We are very serious about changing this country. But we participate democratically. We participate, and that's what we want to ask you to do. Participate democratically. Tell us what your needs are. Tell us what your questions are. Challenge the status quo. Say, where is the opportunities? How do I apply physically to be on a trade delegation, to go to Expo in China? So these are the kinds of things that we want to deal with. Let me just see if there's anything else. You can work with us through questions, motions. You can contact us directly. You can work through us through our constituency offices. And we can make submissions in writing on any of the issues that you have. And we will be able to support and assist in what way we can. We are looking at things like workers' rights. We are looking at things like opportunities for students to go and study overseas. Do you know that there are billions and billions of dollars in the BRICS environment that I went personally to see at FOCAC and other places? We have been part of BRICS since the beginning, and yet all the resources and all the finances and all the support is going to other African countries. Why? Because we've closed ourselves off to BRICS for a long time. It's only now that we're starting to really work with BRICS. But who's benefiting? Again, it's not colored, black, Khoisan, Xhosa, Zulu people. It's a white monopoly capital. And that's the fundamental problem that we're dealing with. Everything that you've mentioned, yes, I 100% agree, but we've got to fundamentally change how we deal with our people. There must be a people's parliament, must be a people's DIRCO, and must be a people's mandate for us to be able to benefit from our economic diplomacy. Thank you.